Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Divine Journey. So, you can see behind me, I've done some building. I'm about a third of the way through the next build video, and I'll go ahead and give you guys a sneak peek of what I've been working on, because I wanted to go ahead and start getting into what we're going to be doing today, moving nodes and stuff like that's going to help me out a lot. Because currently our wand is pretty well shot. We've got a lot of like aqua and Perdito, air, but we're missing Terra, Ordo, and Ignis at the moment. So, because I've been making some arcane stone and stuff like that, which you'll see in the build video, but I did surround this with some crystal clusters. Technically, these, they drop instability on an altar. We're not actually going to be using them for that. We're going to have a whole area under the altar that's like nothing but heads. Just lots and lots of heads, like 3 stacks of heads or something, which will handle all of our actual instability decreasing for the runic altar and stuff. But I have these here for kind of more decor. I love these crystals. I love them a lot. And so I wanted to put some around. And we'll add some more and some other little things. Floating candles, that's a thing. I'd like to implement some of those around the altar and kind of make it a little bit more archaic looking. And I did start laying out the stuff for the runic matrix somewhat. It's basically just the arcane stone blocks and the arcane bricks right down here, which we'll get into that. I just kind of laid it out there for reference for me personally. And then here I made some warded glass and put some of the voidstone runes down there. There's actually all 16 colors of runes underneath this glass. There's 16 different glass spots, and then we have some arcane stone, the glowing symbols around the altar as well. So I'm actually fairly happy with the way it turned out from like a bird's eye view. I think it looks pretty cool. And of course we'll be looking down on that quite a bit, as we add these additional floors. Up here I did start laying out some of the floor and some of the framing, but it's still got a long ways to go. And then the area that I think I spent the most time on so far. Oh, and I did this too. Started working on that little section. But our node room is done. Our node area, well, laying out the room is done. The node room itself is not done, but anyways, right here we're going to have a recharging pedestal is my plan, and then we're going to have 6 nodes around that are, technically your wand recharging, eventually you automate that with like the V network and everything, but I want some nodes around here that are never going to get plugged up into the V network for decor. There's actually 8 slots here. I'm going to do all 6 primals, so we'll have Ordo, Perdito, Aqua, Ignis, Terra, Air, like there, and then these 2 on the corners are going to be kind of like mixed nodes. So then we have like 6 like pure nodes. There'll be, I want to go for at least over 100 V in them, and then we'll probably end up just increasing them, bringing some nodes over to feed them whenever we find pure nodes. But I want just a big node, basically, because I love the way they look. They kind of glow and everything. I think it'll look really, really cool. And then these corner ones, like I said, they'll just be kind of mixed nodes. I may do, like, say this is Ordo, Ignis, Air, then this one might be Ordo, Ignis, Air mix, and then vice versa on the other side. I don't know for sure. I don't know, but just a thought. And then these 5 slots back here, these are going to be V network nodes. So we'll have these plugged up into our V networks for use for, automated systems, stuff like that. And then down here, I just have a beacon set up. I actually have this set up with speed. So we have speed buff while we're, in the general vicinity. I know over here it's still speed. So just something, I kind of wanted it for decor, and then I was like, well, I'll go ahead and activate the beacon just because. So, and I only did a few of these up through with Ender Infused Obsidian just for decor. If you're looking up, you'll still see, Ender Infused Obsidian. That's about as far forward as you're going to go. So I'm not going to stand right underneath it, but alright. Also, when I was working, Ender Pearls, we have 8. So, I'm assuming Endermen just really aren't spawning in our thing anymore. I'm debating if I want to set up just an Enderman spawner, or if I just want to automate Ender Lily seeds with Ender cores. I'm going to give that some thought, and if I set up a farm, I'll just set it up. I don't think we really have to do that on camera, because it's just a farming station. Throw down some Ender cores. These are right here. We've made these before. Throw those down, plant Ender Lily seeds on it, and you're set. So, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it. But yeah, so anyways, today we are going to start off with moving nodes. I want to move nodes, and I did test it. It works perfectly. There's no problems with it at all. So let's go ahead. We are going to grab our builder block for starters. Another benefit of having, I wanted that extra one so that we kind of have one that we can do manual stuff with, like coring out this little area down here, and then also moving nodes and stuff. Of course, there is, I did do a bunch of research, by the way, a bunch of research. This whole basic information tab is done. I went ahead and did Node Najar, even though we probably aren't going to use Node Najar, due to the fact that A, it's expensive, 70 on each element, not to mention a bunch of glass and slabs, and there's a chance for decay. Now, Gatomancy does add its own Node Najar method, if I recall, that uses like silver wood and I think it's warded glass in place of glass that doesn't have a chance to degrade, but that's still expensive when we could use either Blood Magic or RF tools for the same thing without a chance for degradation and no V required to move the stuff. So Node Najar is not actually something we're going to use. I just went ahead and got the research. Research duplication, deconstruction table, went ahead and got those, even though this I'll probably never use. Thaumaturgy, I did a bit of this stuff. Went ahead and got all the node stabilization and all that stuff over here. Went ahead and got all the wand focuses. I mean, there's a few things down here like the staves and stuff I haven't gotten just yet. Alchemy, this page is done presently. I can't remember if some more stuff will get added later. I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure. Artifice, I did a bit of stuff with this. Knocked out a few things through here. Let's see. Gatomancy, I went ahead and did some stuff like the Oracores and Ethereal Familiars and so on. Energistics, I did a bit of research. This will probably be the next thing that I finish out is just all the energistic stuff. And then I think I did a little bit of Thaumic Esoterica, if I recall correctly, but... Oh, and ore purification. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get that. AOPD. I really wish whenever these tabs were like 100% done, I wish they would like disappear. So you don't have to look through them anymore, but... yeah. So anyways, I've just been kind of researching whenever I'm sitting here, maybe I'm editing footage or something like that. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just do a little bit of research passively while I'm doing that stuff. Okay, so the builder block, what we are going to do, we are going to start moving some nodes today, and it's going to be exciting. I'll do like one on camera, maybe two, and then I'll do the rest off camera probably, but because it's actually not going to be terribly exciting once I show you guys how to do it. So what we're going to do is we are going to get RF Tools Space Chamber up and going. Space Chamber card, this thing is crazy cheap. I was very surprised by this, that it was as cheap as it is. Let me order just a couple bricks here. Because the Space Chamber card is very, very, very powerful. For one, you can copy stuff like builds and stuff like that, and either move them or rebuild them, like build, maybe a second one or something like that. It's what I was considering using for the bridge. The only thing with the bridge is it has variable distances and variable shapes and stuff like that as we go through it. So didn't quite work out as well as wouldn't quite work out as well as I wanted it to, but that's okay. But in addition, you can move blocks, which is very powerful when it comes to Thaumcraft, because normally I would go with Blood Magic, right, or Node Najar, but I try to avoid Node Najar if I can. But Blood Magic adds the teleposition, the teleposers and the teleposition focuses. However, the teleposers, they require Draconic Evolution in this pack. And the main thing that comes to mind when using teleposers is moving nodes. Well, RF Tools handles that just as easily. It does require some power, but that's about it. Which, I guess, Blood Magic requires blood, so... but anyways, we're going to need 8 Space Chamber corner blocks. So we're going to need 8 machine frames. This actually I should have ordered these before. Oops. I'm missing ender pearls. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I can do. As a temporary solution, between episodes I will figure something out for this, I promise. But oh, actually, before we do that, let me do one thing. If you notice in here, I actually made a man tablet. I went ahead and charged it. Throw it in a mana pool and just get it charged up. And I want to make, and I know it was brought up in the comments, I want to make our sash. Start with the Sojourner sash. Well, this is going to take a bunch of, this could take a bunch of ender pearls too, so maybe I'm not going to be able to do this right this second. Alright, go ahead and give me like 2 of those, and, what is it, resonant thruster? Let's see, what all do I have for this? Everything except for the magmatic dynamo already. Okay, resonant thruster. There we go. So all we need at this point is all that pulsating iron. And we have 3 at the moment. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to go make some ender pearls. It's fine. It's fine, I promise. I mean, I'm assuming that endermen are still spawning. I need to go over there and, like, sit and watch it, I guess. But I'm assuming that they're still spawning. Just, it's not fast enough. Because we've honestly been pumping out, like, an insane amount of Enderium. Like, I noticed the ender pearls did just jump a second ago. Not by much, you know, but we have 9 now instead of, I think, 8. But truth be told, building that, I've been ordering like hundreds of ender pearls at a time, so definitely doesn't help things. But one thing that we can do, and I'll tell you what, let me get an Elven Mana Spreader. Go ahead and give me one of those. And I'm going to go ahead and upgrade it to a Gaia Spreader. And I'm going to go ahead and actually move this over. Because if you recall, I meant to have it right here. And that's what I want to do. And then this one, I'll go ahead and pull up this torch. Gaia Spreader. And I want you to connect over to that mana distributor. And we'll go ahead and put this potency lens on this one for now. Okay, so this is our alchemy pull. And I can actually make ender pearls with this. I'm going to let that build up for a minute. And we're going to step over to here. And that space chamber corner block. Oh, yeah, I need machine frames, 8 of these. I should have known that I was going to need ender pearls today. I was like, well, I'll bring it up and we'll talk about it in this episode, and then I'll get something sorted. Because I wanted to start getting nodes moved, you know. I was like, I'm really, really craving getting those nodes moved. So, of course, it's not going to let me craft this, I guess. What about if I just order like 4? No. What about 2? No. What about 1? Nope. Okay, my crafting terminal is just not, it's not auto-crafting anything right now. Okay, I seem to be able to order the energy cells. Oh, there we go. I can craft 10 all of a sudden. All of a sudden it's working, so that's great. And I tell you what, while we're waiting on that stuff, I'm going to go ahead and make a Band of Aura. I actually quite like this, let's see, mana rune. Get one of these. I actually quite like this ring a lot, and that's because it passively generates mana and puts it into any kind of mana storage device that you're holding. So in this case, it would put it into my mana tablet. Quite handy, I think. So I am going to make one of those. And if you upgrade it, which is super cheap to upgrade, it actually generates quite a bit of mana. And our energy cell frames are nearly done, so we're getting there. Because all of a sudden they've started being able to be crafted in bulk, so I can just order them. Alright, so Band of Aura, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to put it into here, and let's get a piece of Terra Steel. Pow. Greater Band of Aura. And that's just going to help keep, because we're going to be using a little bit of the mana from this mana tablet, that's going to help keep that field. Okay. And then, let's see, energy cells, we have 32 of them. Okay, great. So I want to get 32 quantum rings. Is the next thing that I want. Hopefully can handle that. There we go. It is off. It is off. Okay. And then we should be able to order our machine frames. I'm going to order like 2 at a time because we got the factory machine blocks. We have the quantum chamber stuff being created. Okay, and our pulsating iron's done. So let's go ahead and get our Sojourner Sash. There we go. And then we can upgrade this to the Globetrotter Sash. This takes 4 Gaia Spirits, 2 blocks of Elementium, and 2 Terra Steel, which isn't too bad, all things considered. I just need the Elementium, so let me order, let's go ahead and get like 20. That's fine. Alright, so 2 blocks of Elementium, there we go. And there's our Globetrotter Sash, which basically it's just an upgraded version of the Sojourner Sash. We're going to go ahead and throw this into our last bauble slot. And now we can run faster, which also means we can fly faster. Still not as fast as the jetpacks were. As soon as we can get like... I mean, I can deal with this way better than the super slow speed that we had before. Because this is going to make moving around, getting those nodes and stuff a whole lot easier. But alright, so we are just waiting on... Oh, I just need to order 2 more machine frames. I've got the quantum link stuff. What am I missing? 4 ender pearls. Of course we are. Okay, so I need 2 more machine frames. Then we can start getting our space chamber stuff. It'd be a whole lot easier if I wasn't like out of ender pearls. I'm gonna fix that though. I'm gonna fix that. Okay, so I want space chamber corner blocks. I'm going to want 8 of these in total. And it's finishing up those 2 machine frames. We're also going to want 1 of these turned into a space chamber controller block, which is going to require a couple ender pearls. Let me go grab those. And after this, we're like done with ender pearls for the episode. Because I was thinking like, oh, we don't really need ender pearls for today's episode. Yeah, we actually do for this part, so my bad. Space chamber controller block. There we go. Alright. And then machine frames. We're still waiting on those, really? And yeah, I think next episode we'll start keeping stuff in stock. Because that's definitely something I want to do. I just want to get nodes moved, like, really bad right now. Like, Thaumcraft is, like, burning a hole in my pocket, so to speak. Okay, so we've got our space chamber controller block, our space chamber corner blocks. We've got ourselves a lever, a builder block, a tesseract. I think that's pretty much everything. I was sad because I totally forgot that the Ender Offset Wand was not added. You'll notice it in the speed build video. I was going to put the big, like, 3x3 arcane stone brick runes down here. And then coat them with glass. And then I realized the Ender Offset Wand is not added until, like, I think 1.10. So I wasn't able to do that. Which was sad. Very, very sad. Alright, so I'm going to want some kind of block to build with, of course. I'm just going to take some netherrack. That's fine. And I guess our first node... Honestly, it's going to be that Terra node that's in the Twilight Forest. So let's put... Let's see. Let's put our first one... Our first node's going to go down right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put our builder block right here. Let's go ahead and pull that up. And it's going to put the node directly behind it. We'll put the tesseract right here. We'll put our lever right here. And we got our space chamber card. Okay, we're all set. So let's pop over to the Twilight Forest. It's good to have like fast flight again. Not quite as fast, but it's fast. It's very, very fast. So, all right. So let's go find this thing. It was like a
Hell's fury, meet your doom.
Naturally. Big Ordo, Giant Terra. Right over here. This is the one I want. 128 Terra. Okay, there we go. And everything's gone. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let me just put some netherrack around this. Something like that should be good. And then we're going to put down our... Actually, let me do it like this. We're going to put our space chamber controller block down in one corner. And then we're going to put our corner blocks down like this. And then like this. So basically we have just this little 1x1 section. And then let's go ahead and just pull up all of that. Oh, what is this node? I didn't even notice this one. Oh, I guess I already scanned it. But so our corners go around this node right here. And so you, in the middle of all of them, you have that one block little space. And then what we can do is, where's my wrench at? Crescent hammer works. Just right click this with a wrench. And it says, you'll see it changed to channel 1, area 1 block. Okay, and it says chamber successfully created. Then let's take our space chamber card. We'll just right click this. It says card is set to channel 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and just chunk load this real quick. Just a temporary little chunk load. Just to make sure that our RF Tools thing, our builder can identify it and find it. My God. Echo demons love to kill those things, though. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Like, watch this, it's great. It does require a bit of power. Like, if we were to right-click this in the air, you can see it's going to cost 1 million RF to move this one block. So, I mean, it's fairly expensive, but power's not really an issue for us at the moment, so, you know, that's no problem. No problem at all. So, let's just open up the builder block. Let's put in our space chamber card. And if we say support preview, you can see it's going to place it right back here. Okay? And we are going to set it to move. Move mode. And then all we have to do is just right click this. There we go. That's simple. There is our Terra node, 128 Terra in it, and it's still just a normal node. It's not going to get any degradation moving it that way. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up our builder block. And our Tesseract. And the next thing that I want to do is, like, since we've got that move, let's go ahead and pull up this block. Okay, because we're not going to need that there. We're going to put a node stabilizer down right there. Let's go ahead. Well, I don't know which one. I'm probably going to go for an Ordo one next, I think. But I think we should focus on what we're going to need to make node stabilizers. What V that we're going to need. So node stabilizer requires 40 Terra, 40 Aqua, 40 Ordo, which is perfect. Aqua is super easy to find. Just fly around over the ocean. You can find a big Aqua node generally pretty quickly. Ordo, I know where a couple big ones are. They're not quite 100, but we're going to buff those up. Because I have a big one in the Twilight Forest that we'll use. So to make this, we are going to need Nitor. Okay. Do I have any Nitor by chance? From like chests or... No, I don't. Okay. Nitor, though, is just glowstone with some potentia, some ignis, some lux. And this, we can actually make this pretty easily with no leftovers. So we may actually use the Crucible, like the basic Crucible. Today we might get into automating the Crucible, like, to some extent, but we'll see. Okay, but what else do we need for node stabilizers? Block placers, which takes... Good. Let me order some factory machine blocks. Like 4. Go ahead and get those going. And I'm going to automate... there's a couple patterns. I'm going to go ahead and automate block placers. Oh, we've already got these automated. Never mind. We should have this one automated. So, there we go. That's how you make a block placer from Project Red. We'll go ahead and encode that. And we'll put it into here. So let me order, I don't know, like 4 block placers. There's 3. That'll be the first. That'll get us started. And then we're going to need, what all else is it? Node stabilizers, blocks of dark steel, arcane stone bricks, blocks of gold. Okay. Well, arcane stone bricks, we can do that. Let's chisel these to bricks. And then we're going to want a block of gold. Start with 3.
Hell's fury! Meet your doom!
And then go ahead and make me like 400 more dark steel. I'll go ahead and take those 2. Hopefully nothing spawns in here. By the way, this is laid out. This is going to be Arcane Pedestal to go down there with the Runic Altar, which we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm gonna do that on camera. I just kind of started laying out and working with some of that stuff. But okay, dark steel blocks, arcane stone bricks, gold block placer. There we go. And then we just need the Nitor, which I almost forgot. Let me switch armor here, because I'm in my weak armor right now. Alright, so let's get, I've got some netherrack. Let me get a flint and steel. And let me get a bucket of water. And we're going to do just some very basic Crucible stuff here. Let me put down, so much of this is wood though. We'll put it down right here for right now. And we'll put the Crucible down right here. Whoops, not right there. Crucible down right there. And we'll go ahead and light this on fire, and let's add some water so this can start boiling for us. And to make Nitor, okay, it was what, 3 Lux, 3 Ignis, Notor. 3 Potentia, 3 Ignis, 3 Lux. And let's see, Coal is 2 and 2, Ignis and Potentia, and then Lux. And by the way, you can hit U here and see what they are made up of. Lux is torches. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with, like, let's say 3, 4, yeah, we'll do 4 Ignis. 4 Nitor. So 3 pieces makes 2. So we'll go with 6 pieces of coal, and then we'll get 12 torches. And then we just need our 4 glowstone. There we go. That's enough to make 4 pieces of Nitor. So what we're going to do is we are going to start off with, let's throw in the torches, the coal, the glowstone. And there we go. We got 4 pieces of Nitor, and the water's not all fluxed out. So it's not going to make any flux and start tossing it into the air or dumping it out everywhere. I don't mind using it if we have the exact amounts. I just hate messing with the flux spill out and everything. So, okay, so there is our node stabilizer. But we don't have enough V in this. We're missing Ordo and Terra. Luckily, Terra we have. Let me go ahead and get a dimensional anchor. And I'm going to put this down just... I'm actually going to put it down right below where the altar is going to go. So right here, dimensional anchor, and then we are going to chunk load... Let's see, what would a 3x3 cover? Actually, that area right there is chunk loaded, so I don't need to put it right here, necessarily. Instead, we'll put it right below the wand pedestal. And we'll do like a 3x3 from this point, which would cover this, 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 this. Because I believe... Yeah, see, this stuff in the back is in that back chunk. So that'll work perfectly. And I mean, that's going to cover most of our Thaumcraft area. So that'll be perfect. Okay, so now this area is all chunk loaded, so we might as well go ahead and just drain the Terra that we need. Well, I'm going to wait whenever I come back. Well, no, I guess. Let me go ahead and just drain the Terra that we need out of this. Okay, so there we go. And let's go find some Ordo. And while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and set up the space chamber that we're going to be using. Like the next one. Let's see, we are right over here. And let me go ahead and throw on our... ring of magnetization. And we're just going to go ahead and pull up all these space chamber blocks real quick. There we go. And actually, let me... there's 2 things I want to clear this out on. First up right here, the Terra that has 128. Let's go ahead and delete that out of our TC node tracker. That's I, by the way, to open that. And then also... right here, this 128 Terra. Let's go ahead and remove that as well. Okay, so we've got a big Ordo node over here. I don't remember how much it is off the top of my head, but we will find out. I guess I could check the TC node tracker, but it's not really... that's 71. So that's a good starting point. And then, of course, we can feed that to make it larger. So let's go ahead and get our netherrack. And we'll go ahead and start laying this area out. Space chamber controller, put right here. Corner blocks. Getting these first 3 ones, the Ordo, the Terra, and the Aqua. These are the most important ones. Okay, so our ore node is in the spot. Let's go ahead and right-click that. And then we'll just go ahead and right-click that. Card is set to channel 1. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and chunk load this as well. There we go. And actually, let me, while we're on the way home, let me go ahead and shut off the chunk loads right here. There we go. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and drain the Ordo out of this, just because I'm going to need that Ordo to make our node stabilizer. Because I don't want to move any more nodes until we start putting down node stabilizers. so that they don't drain off of each other, right? Node stabilizer keeps them from draining from each other, which is actually very important for us. So let's go over here. But it's about to get a whole lot easier. Getting V, moving nodes, stabilizing them, all that stuff is about to be way easier. So it's very, very good. And then once we get the wand recharge pedestal, which we're not going to be able to get that until we get the runic matrix up and going, but we will be able to get that before too long, which will be nice. Let me go ahead and just shift right click, and there's our first node stabilizer. 34.8 with all of our discount. So very, very good. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put down our node stabilizer right here. It's going to activate, it's going to stabilize that node so that node cannot feed off of other nodes. Now, if we apply a redstone signal, it's going to disable that. Okay, which will come in handy if we want to feed these nodes, make them bigger, that kind of thing. Oops. Okay, so the next one that we're moving is Ordo. I'm going to put Ordo right over here. Okay, our first three nodes basically are going to go bam, 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 right there. And let me go ahead and remove, well, actually I'll use that to place the builder block down right there. We'll put down our Tesseract, make sure this thing has power, and our lever, and put in our space chamber card, move. There we go. That's all good. So we'll go ahead and break off that light, and let me go ahead and just put a new light right there. And we will right click. There we go. There's our Ordo node. Easy as pie. And the nice thing is these are going to be recharging their V, because like that only has 37, but you can see that one's back up to 102 already. And we drained more than that when we first drained it. I'm fairly certain that we did. So let's go ahead and top off our Terra, and we'll go ahead and top off our Ordo. And now what I need to do is I need to go get an Aqua node, a big Aqua node. But I'm going to pop over, I'm going to get our space chamber blocks real quick. And then we're going to go out, find an Aqua node, we'll set up our space chambers, come back, make a node stabilizer, and then spawn in another. We'll just bounce back and forth like that. So, you know, there's not like a ton of issue moving these at all. And once we get the Aqua node moved over, then we're going to have all three nodes that we need for the node stabilizers. Then we can focus on Ignis, Perdito, and Air. Finding big nodes of those. I mean, they don't have to be, you know, I want nodes to have over 100 V in them for these like 6 primals that we have, but if they don't have 100, like in the case of this Ordo, all we have to do is find some pure Ordo nodes, because I do want these to be pure. I like the pure, the way they look and stuff like that, but all we have to do is find some smaller ones and feed them to the larger ones. Very, very simple, which we'll get into that probably here in just a moment. Okay, and let's remember to remove our Ordo. And let's go find a good-sized Terra node. Okay, I've got one right here that's 109. That is perfect. That is perfect. I actually found one that was like 69, I think, or something like that. And I was thinking about using that one, but then flew a little bit farther and found this one. That's awesome. Okay, so once more, one last time on camera. And then the rest of these I'm just going to do off camera, but space chamber blocks. Pow, pow, pow. It couldn't be easier. It's so simple. Right click that. And then pow. There we go. Or a node. And we'll just go ahead. Oh, there's one of those big guys. And let's go ahead and just chunk load this little area here. Okay. But luckily when I came out it was nighttime. Nighttime's nice because I can just fly around and look for light. Like I don't even have to hold this thing. Of course we have the goggles of revealing. I'm just not wearing them right now, so. Which is fine. Oh, this is where we first found that Strider before. Where am I at exactly in terms of the map? Okay, looks like I'm going off in this direction. And generally, the Deep Dark tends to have a lot of Perdito in my experience. So that's probably where I'm going to go for Perdito nodes. The Nether for Ignis, and look around the overworld probably just for Air. Okay, I did top this off while I was out, mainly with the aqua that we needed. Our Ignis is terrible, but and this is going to go right here. Set this one up, drop that in. Let's check our preview. Looks good. And lever. Okay, so for one more node stabilizer real quick, let's go ahead and we should have the dark steel that we need. There we go. Beautiful. Everything's coming together now, and it's so good. It is so good. Like, we're not going to have to go out for nodes anymore, like, here shortly. I mean, unless we're looking for nodes and stuff like that to do things with, but there we go. And we'll set that node stabilizer down, so now our Ordo is stabilized. And then right-click that. There's our Aqua. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. And I'll go ahead and just top this off. We are going to be running through a lot of V right now, but that's fine. I can grab V while I'm out and stuff. There we go. That Ordo one's suffering a little bit right now, but that's okay. And I'm short. I'm short on Ordo by 2. There's some Ordo in that one. I'll just snag that. And we're about to get our third node stabilizer. And I mean, like I said, from this point on... Oh, there's a node right here. I never even realized it. It's like right next to the Thaumcraft area. Never even noticed it. Like, at all. Alright. So let me get one more node stabilizer. Thank you. And we'll just put this one down right here. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Alright. So that Ordo node has to kind of fill back up right now. And one thing that I would love to have, Wand Recharge Pedestal, but we are going to have to get into Arcane Infusion, which is going to be a whole lot easier to get into. Like, once you get the nodes moved over, Thaumcraft becomes so much easier. So much easier. The nodes are the worst part, and if it's just like pure Thaumcraft, you have to wait for Node in a Jar. If you don't have like Blood Magic or RF Tools or something like that. There's a few other ways you can move stuff, but once you get the nodes, you're set. You are golden at that point. So, but anyways, I am going to fly around, do the same thing pretty much for Ignis, Air, and Perdito. So I'll be back in a bit once I get those 3 moved over, and we have all 6 elemental node types here. So I'll be back in just a bit, and then we're probably going to feed up this Ordo node a little bit, make it a little bit bigger, and any others that we come across that we need to feed up. I mean, that one's like 128, this one's like 106. I'll probably still end up feeding them up, making them a bit larger, but they are pretty solid to start with. So I'll be back in a while, in a few hours or something. We'll see. Okay, I've got the nodes sorted. We are in a lot better shape for getting our wand recharged. We have a Perdito node with 89, an Aura node, an Air node with 91, and we have right here, this is a 90 Ignis. And then right over here, since I'm going to be combining, on this side I'm going to be combining Ordo, Terra, and Aqua. I brought over, if you recall, we found that one, and I marked it as Ordo Aqua Heavy. So I went ahead and just brought that one over. It's 59 Aqua, 54 Ordo. I haven't found a really good one that I want to go with just yet to start with combining these. But, yeah, we're in a lot better shape. I can easily walk over here and I can recharge my wand from any of these without issue. And we've got them all in node stabilizers. So we are all set for crafting now. We've got ways to, reduce the cost, and we have ways to charge the wand back up from right in here. So, alright, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and move on. And I think probably next episode we'll just briefly go over feeding nodes. I've been moving nodes. It's literally been like 2.5 hours looking for these. By the way, the Perdito and the Ignis node, I actually found those both in the Twilight Forest. Ignis, I could not find a good pure Ignis node in the Nether. I couldn't even find like really any good nodes at all. Like for example, if we pull up the Nether and we go down here, these are all the nodes that I found in the Nether flying around for quite a while. Did not come across any, any pure, hardly anything, and no real good Ignis nodes, surprisingly, in the Nether. That's normally like my go-to for Ignis. Could not find a good one, but the Air, found it in the Overworld, and the Perdito and Ignis I found in the Twilight Forest. And one thing that's funny is I looked forever, finally found an Air node here in the Overworld. Took quite a while, but if we pull up, we click here on the Air and we pull it up, and we go down, there is actually a 93 Air node, and it's actually right in front of our base. Like down there where that river was, where we used to get some sand and stuff at the beginning. Down there, pretty much right in front of where our base was originally, like down at like ground level, there's an air node with 93 air in it. Did not notice that until after I'd already searched around forever and found this 91. So, 91. Truth be told, I may end up moving the 93 over here and just shifting this one over and feeding it. We'll see. But for now, I'm happy with the 91. I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, and I found a ton of huge Terra nodes. Like, Terra nodes are a dime a dozen. Like, massive ones, like over 100. It's crazy. Alright, so anyways, we're going to be continuing on with the quest book here. Picking back up. And we're going to start getting into a little bit of the alchemical furnace stuff today. Because that's pretty much the next step. We'll get the alchemical furnace up and going, and then we can move towards the infusion altar after that. Because I would like to get the wand to recharge pedestal. This right here. But we are going to need some Percantio, some Permutatio, and some Aurum, as well as some Primal Charms, which takes balance shards. So I do want to go ahead and get that up and going. Alright, so the Alchemical Furnace just requires Arcane Stone blocks, Dark Steel, Survivalist Generator, a Crucible, and an Alloy Smelter. Which the Crucible, we have that some... Oh, it's actually right over there. So let's go ahead and get ourselves an Alloy Smelter first up. We'll go ahead and just order that. And then the Survivalist Generator. This thing's not very expensive at all. We are going to need a furnace. And there we go. Survivalist Generator. And I'm just going to make one for right now. Just kind of streamline this. But I will say, maybe between this episode and next, maybe the episode after, we'll see. I still have Dark Steel and Arcane Stone. I'm just going to shift these around a little bit. Because I don't need these things at the moment. And we'll just chisel this. Arcane Stone blocks. And then what is it? Alloy Smelter, Survivalist Generator, and then we are going to want our Crucible. Survivalist Generator goes right there. Is that a... that's a ×8. Okay, so we're going to need a transfer node for energy. Do I have one of those? Because I made some... No, I do not. Okay. So I'm going to have to get a energy transfer node. That is 4 transfer nodes, a breadth first, search upgrade, and 4 gold in the QED. Sounds good. Give me a breadth first. Just one of those. And breadth first, search upgrade. And then just 4 pieces of gold. And then one thing I do want to move into fairly quickly is golems. Like, even if it's just like straw golems, wood golems, can't pull them up in there, but to make this system a little bit easier, I don't know if we'll get into them today, per se, but we'll probably get the Crucible, the Alchemic Furnace up and going first, then move to the golems. Because they will make our lives a little bit easier. They'll kind of streamline the whole alchemy system early on until we get into Thaumic Energistics. But this will be good. Speaking of, okay, Thaumic Energistics is over on this side. Honestly, I think we're going to have to... Yeah, actually, we could make the Arcane Crafting Terminal right now. Honestly, we might do that. We might go ahead and get the Arcane Crafting Terminal in just a moment. Because that would just make our lives a whole lot easier. For some reason, I was thinking that we were going to need some other stuff to at least get that in place. Because it's pretty far over here. And we're not going to be storing Essentia today, but that's fine. Okay. So, let me grab that. We're going to need 7 more furnaces. And then our Survivalist Generator... Oh, wait. Wait a second here. This one... Give me 7 of those. And there we go. Survivalist Generator ×8. And I may actually want to automate that, possibly. Let me go ahead and switch over to our stuff. Our stuff here. And we'll get our Alchemical Furnace. Oops. Okay, now before we move on, I do want to go ahead and get... even though it's a little bit later in the quest book, that's fine. Actually, I'm curious. Is it counting... Like the nodes... Okay, the node stabilizer did count. It's perfect. And for this, we get an open crate, which actually isn't bad because if you recall, open crates are semi-expensive to some extent. Not terrible, but, you know, they do have a little bit of cost behind them. So let's go ahead then and get ourselves an Arcane crafting terminal. This would just be kind of handy to have. ME terminal, give me that. And then I'm going to need 2 calculation processors. Which is fine. And then I'm going to want 2 tables. These right here. Give me 1, 2 of those. And let me grab this. There we go. There's 1. There's 2. And actually, I've got this in here. Let's go ahead and just make this since we can. Our first Arcane pedestal. We're going to need a bunch of those. I think I've got it laid out so that we're going to need 17 in total. But this one's going to go right here in the middle. Okay. We may start the runic matrix up today. Truth be told, today is a whole lot of groundwork. Like, we may not be diving into a ton of the Thaumcraft stuff, but we've got nodes. We can recharge our wand. We'll probably get the runic matrix up and going, maybe. Maybe. And then we'll get start working on the alchemical furnace and all that good stuff. So, and then the next time we hit Thaumcraft, which I will say it's probably going to be an episode, possibly 2, before we hit Thaumcraft again. Just because there's some other stuff I want to touch on with tech-related stuff, keeping things stocked. But whenever we do, we'll be ready to really hit Thaumcraft. Because once you have nodes, once you have the runic altar, once you have... oh, good, eruption.
Eruption!
And then once you have the alchemical furnace, you're pretty well set. I will say that we're probably going to be setting up a mana bean farm before too long in this series, because I think it would be handy. It would be quite handy for us. So, Arcane crafting terminal, there we go. This thing makes life so much easier. And we'll just plop this thing down right there. Okay, and did it count that? I want to double check that. Yes, it did. Okay. So now you can see it's starting to kick things into here bit by bit. It's going to take a little while, I think, to sync everything, but... Oh, there we go. There we go. And let's set it to number of items. Okay. It seems to be all synced. And so then we can craft stuff through here. We can put our wand into here and craft things instead of actually using these anymore. These are nice to have for decor, and I'll actually probably end up putting wands into these. Probably between episodes, I'm thinking just Gold Banded Greatwood Wand will look fine, and it'll kind of add to the touch of this room. But most of our crafting we're actually going to be doing in this. And the nice thing is we can actually take our armor. Like, we can take this stuff off. We can put it... oops, wrong terminal. We can put it into here. This is something I quite love. And say we were wearing this armor. We can come over here. I keep clicking the wrong one. We could swap armor. Pow. There we go. Take a look. We're in our crafting armor. And then this, we'll probably just put decorative armor on that. So, okay. So anyways, let's go ahead and let me go charge this up real quick. And it's so much easier. It is so much easier to do this because I can just go, wham. Charge that up. Bam. Charge Terra up. There we go. We'll just grab some Aqua from this one. That's fine. Doesn't matter which one. Grab ourselves a little bit of Ignis. Grab ourselves... There we go. It wasn't draining for some reason. It looked like it was. It was doing the particles, but it wasn't actually draining. And there we go. Our wands recharged. And these, having these node stabilizers around them, they do recharge slightly slower, at about half the rate, as if we didn't have them on there. But you know, they're not gonna drain off of each other, because of course nodes are gonna feed off of nodes that are smaller than them when they're in close proximity like this. I think it's like 4 blocks away they'll feed. And we don't want that. You know, we want these nodes to be, you know, basically untouchable, so to speak. So, all right, so we'll just pop our wand into here, and we will automate before it's too long. We're going to semi-automate wand recharging, and then eventually just fully automate it, and it's going to be all set. But anyways, to continue on with our alchemical furnace, we are going to need these things right here, Arcane Alembics. They want us to get 3 of them. That's fine. 3 is a pretty solid number to go with. To do that, we're going to need V filters and Essentia tubes. Sounds good. Okay, so, but first up, they want us to get some warded jars. 4 warded jars. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and go for that. And warded jars in this packet is glass panes, crystal bell jars, and living wood slabs. I mean, crystal bell jars, they're not terrible to make. It's just, that's surprising, to say the least. Okay, so we're going to need a bunch of this concentrated catalyst. I'm going to go ahead and order 10 of it. That should be a pretty solid amount to start with. And then to make this, we are also going to need daylight sensors. Give me just a bunch of slabs here. Oh, and I've actually got a bunch of daylight sensors already in here, so okay, never mind. So warded jars. We are out of mana glass. It's fine. Oh, and you know what? I have not automated mana glass because I was waiting for that second setup. I'll set that up between episodes, just like we did before with the Britannia setup. If you recall, I was waiting for the better spreaders. We've got the better spreaders and everything set up here to handle that. So I will get this one set up for mana production. So go ahead and craft me lots of things. Here we go, 64 mana glass. I love this area. I love Thaumcraft areas. I love building Thaumcraft areas. I have so much fun with it. And I am very, very happy with this area thus far. Okay, so there is our 10 crystal bell jars. Perfect. And we just ran out of daylight sensors, so that is perfect as well. And then on to the warded jars. So living wood slabs, crystal bell jars, glass panes. Okay. Living wood, go ahead and give me a stack of living wood slabs. And then I'm also going to want a bunch of glass panes. We have 2048. That's perfect. Not going to need nearly that many. And so warded jars, go ahead and give me 10 of them. There we go. Easy as pie. And we get 10 mystical white flowers. Okay. Sencha tubes. We're going to get more mystical flowers. These require dark steel, prismarine shards, 2 quicksilver. Okay. And I don't have a whole lot of prismarine, so let me pop over and just get a bunch of prismarine. Basically, it's just quartz ran through an alchemy catalyst. Honestly, that might... No, that hasn't been automated yet either. That's another thing I have to automate is the alchemy catalyst. So go ahead and make me prismarine shards, 64 of them. And how much quicksilver? We only have 1 quicksilver at the moment. Shimmerleaf, smelt cinnabar, that does work. Okay, that is perfect. That is perfect. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a quick recipe. And I'm going to say that if you take cinnabar ore, that actually seems to be backed up. Let me, let me go see real quick. Because it really seems like that's backed up and I need to fix that if it is. Okay, there we go. It wasn't backed up by much. I think there was like 2 or 3 pieces. I think I actually brought that up last episode and said that I need to upgrade that. But I think it just slipped my mind. I was so, honestly, after last episode, I was so pumped to get back into that Thaumcraft area, get back to work, get that node room built. So that was pretty much what I went straight for, to be perfectly honest. Like, I've been so pumped to get into Thaumcraft since we started this series. Thaumcraft is a mod I have missed so much. I've missed it so much. And it's nice to be back into it, honestly. Okay, so let's make a quick recipe here. And let me go ahead and order some more patterns also, because we're definitely going to need those. Yeah, give me like 20 of those. Okay, so we're going to say that if you take, it's processing, if you take cinnabar, you smelt it, you get quicksilver. And we'll just encode that. And interface terminal, let's find our furnaces. There we go, bricks. Bedrockium. Yeah, perfect. We'll pop it right into there. Okay, so give me like 9 pieces of quicksilver. We'll go for like a solid 10 total. And I want to make a Sencha tubes. These make 4 at a time. And we are missing dark steel. Oh, that's right, because all my dark steel is right here. We'll go ahead and pull this out, because we actually don't need anything in any of these tables anymore, since we're going to be doing the majority of our crafting here. I will still probably use these tables on occasion if I'm crafting something that has a lot of steps involved, that have a lot of crafting. Sometimes I'll piece those together bit by bit in a work table while I'm doing stuff in here from the system. Just kind of comes in handy. I don't need the blocks. I need the... need the, oh, it's not registering. There we go. Okay, I want 20 Ascension Tubes. That's great. I think the quest only wanted, okay, 6, so 2 crafts. We get some Mystical Light Gray Flowers, that's fine. And then V filters. These require silverwood planks, weighted pressure plates, blocks of gold. And how many they want us to get? 3 of them, so 2 crafts. I'm going to make a little bit more than that. So give me gold. I'm going to go ahead and get 10 weighted pressure plates. And then our V filters. There we go. And okay, and the one's low on aqua. So let me get just a bit of aqua from this one. And I'll go ahead and top off the Ordo as well. Oh, I love having those nodes here. Like, that is game changing when it comes to Thaumcraft. Like, if you wanted to, and you're getting into Thaumcraft, if you have the area built, or you're not worried about building out an area, do that first. Do that before you even start Thaumcraft. Just makes your life so much easier. So much easier. So, V filters, give me 4 of them. Okay, that's fine. And we'll go ahead and turn that in. We get 10 Mystical Brown Flowers. Okay, but we want the Arcane Alembic. It's going to require 3 Crucibles in total. So let me get 3 Cauldrons. Just 3 of those. And let me dump these flowers. Don't want them. And our wand. There we go. 3 of those. And depending, we may automate that process. Very easy to automate with autonomous activators or whatnot, so that's not a problem. Okay, I want Arcane Alembics. Give me 1, 2. I'm going to need more air and more aqua. These things are 17.4 apiece. Like, that's why I say get those nodes. Because you go through this stuff so much. When it comes to, like, you really start crafting things, you eat through this stuff. I mean, honestly, the nodes I have aren't even enough for, like, a big setup, like a lot of crafting. You know, you could see, I mean, these nodes are getting drained. They're going to take a little while to refill. They'll last for this episode, but I'm just saying, like, we're going to eat through them fairly quickly. So, the more nodes that you have access to, the better. And the bigger nodes that you have. So I want to get started feeding those pretty quick. Alright, so Mystical Gray Flowers. There we go. And you can see that we've just unlocked a huge section of our Arcane, our Thaumcraft quest book. So Thaumium Ingots, we've already done that before. 3 of those. We get 10 Mystical Purple Flowers. Node Stabilizer, already done that. We get a Blaze Lamp. Nitor, we get 10 Mystical Lime Flowers. And we'll just go ahead and dump this stuff into there. Ooh, this takes an alchemy catalyst. Whew. Alright. Because we actually need 2 of these things for the multi-block. And that's just for 1 of them. We're going to need multiples of those. So, alright, so we've got our alchemical furnace. We've got our arcane alembics. And let's go set these things up. And I will say these are going to get moved. I have not built the room where all of our alchemy stuff's going to go, because I want like a room with golems kind of running around and stuff. And of course, eventually we will fully automate it into the AE system and everything. But I do still want golems running around. I love golems, and they just add so much life to a room. But this first one, let's just set it up temporarily. We're going to set it up just right here. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our arcane alembics, just bam, 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 right on top of that. Okay, unfortunately, I was just editing footage and I noticed that it's pretty close to wrapping up point. I was doing some research. You'll notice I finished out everything that we have available in Energistics. I also did a lot of Thaumic tinkering, like a bunch of it, knocking out a lot of that research as well. So, and then, what was it? I think Lamps of Growth, a couple little odds and ends, but anyways, let's really quickly go over how this works, like the basics of it. Next episode that we do Thaumcraft, we'll get into a lot more of it, because we're gonna use this. We are going to do the alchemical construct, and we're going to get the runic matrix up and going, maybe do some infusion crafting. We will be automating that very, 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 well, fairly soon. Basically, to automate it, You can go with like the filters and the item conduits and stuff. That works fine. It's very, very easy to automate. It's like any other thing that you automate with filters. It's pretty much, if you're going to automate this with filters, if you're familiar, if you played any 1.10, you know, actually editions, the Empowerer, basically and I know a lot of people have issues with the infusion crafting, automating it. Think of it as just a really big Empowerer. That's really all it is. It has more slots, but it's, at the end of the day, it's just an Empowerer. But your filters can get pretty elaborate, especially in a pack like this. But one thing that we can do in this pack is just get ourselves Infusion Claw from Gatomancy. We'll probably work on getting this before too long. It is a little bit expensive because it does take those primordial pearls. And it's probably going to be a little while, but yeah, since it does take those, they're going to be expensive. But anyways, we'll get into those a little bit later. But anyways, let's go ahead and get ourselves some coal. And I will say that like Nitor is going to be more efficient in this. Speed it up a bit, but for right now, coal works perfectly fine. We're going to put that down there because it does need a combustible. And let's look at something that we're going to want to craft next episode. And a couple things that come to mind. First up, the runic matrix. Does it require anything? Balance shards. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and start with our 6 primal elements. Okay, so let's get, and actually, what does it take to make like a void jar? Blaze powder, obsidian. No, I'm not going to do void jars just yet. Probably won't do void jars because we're going to store all of our Essentia into this. I don't know why I have so many more air shards than I do all the others. I have a ton of air shards, and I'm kind of like a bit lower on the others. Not terrible, but not great either. Let's just go ahead and get our shards. We'll start with these. This seems like a good enough starting place. And I'm going to go through and make sure all of these are scanned. You'll notice that each shard consists of 1 part Percantio, 1 part, what is that called? For some reason I can't think of what it's called. I use it all the time. Vitreous. 1 part Vitreous, 1 part Magicalis, and then 2 parts of its Primal. Okay? These are, early on, these are a good way to get your Primal aspects. There's a lot of other ways. Like, for example, I mean, really, what I should be doing, if I actually cared about resources, is like Cobblestone. Well, apparently I haven't scanned Cobblestone. But if you're actually caring about resources, Cobblestone, that's 1 part Terra, 1 part Perdito. There's a lot of stuff like that you could do. Yeah, let me do that. Let me not be, I guess. I'm not really too worried about the resources aspect of it, but I don't have as many jars with like leftover junk. So we're going to get that smelting, that cobblestone. You'll see it's filling up this purple bar here. That purple bar is going to go into these arcane alembics. And you can see that the essentia that makes up that cobblestone is getting broken down. It's getting dumped into these arcane alembics. Okay, now you can attach your essentia tubes here and have it, you know, basically pull out and go into jars. I don't generally do that. I tend to skip that step because there's a whole lot of issue with pressure and things like that. I mean, you can make systems, but they're way more cumbersome to make a good system, in my opinion, than it's really worth. The best thing to do is go straight for golems or go straight for Thaumic energistics. Not really worry about the piping. To me, it's just a waste of time because at this point, you're just as well off using your jars and manually filling it until you get into golems. That's my thoughts on it. Because you're not really automating at this phase, I don't feel like piping is that important. Alright, so we got 32 of each. That's all the cobblestone that was in here. And you'll see it used 1 piece of coal. It's pretty efficient on smelting this stuff down. So then what we can do is we can take our warded jars, right-click, right-click. And now we have a jar here with 32 Perdito and a jar here with 32 Terra. And we'll just put these right there. And then if I want them, break them, collect the stuff, put them back, that kind of stuff. So anyways, that's basically basics of it. Arcane Alembics, they can only hold 1 type of Essentia at a time. So if I have something with, say, 4 Essentia types on it, so for example, maybe, let's see, what does Warded Jar got on it? Yeah, see, Warded Jar has 6 different things in there. If I throw a Warded Jar in there, it's going to fill 3 of these, but the rest of it's going to fill up this. If this purple bar gets filled, basically it means so much Essentia is backed up in there, it can't break any more down. You need to get rid of the Essentia in the Arcane Alembic and give it time to empty that Essentia from this purple fill-up bar into these alembics. So, that's pretty much the basics of it. And so what I'm going to have to do between episodes, I'm going to get a little bit of Essentia built up. Mainly the main things that I want to get for sure regarding infusion and crafting. We're going to have to get balance shards, and I want to get a wand recharge pedestal next episode. This requires Aurum, Permutatio, Mercantio, also requires Primal Charms that take those balance shards, which are made with any shard and the other 5 elements, 2 of each. So not terribly expensive, but I am going to want to get some of those next episode and or not necessarily next episode, but anyways, that's about it for this episode. But that's just kind of the plans for the next episode of Thaumcraft. Next episode, though, of the series, we will be working on just setting the stuff up so that it stays stocked. Honestly, I think I want a drawer of dark steel. I want a drawer of electrical steel. So 2048, I'm thinking, could be a solid number. Well, maybe a little bit more than that. I don't know, because we're gonna be storing it in our drawer network in block form. We're gonna use level emitters to control the amount that we're producing, and then we'll probably keep slightly lower numbers of other things like pulsating iron. I don't use a ton of that, but like redstone alloy, dark steel, electrical steel, I want lots of those. Also Enderium I want to keep a bit of. I want to keep probably a lot of the thermal stuff, just kind of keep it stocked. And I'm actually going to go with dedicated smelters. I'm still going to keep the recipes in the current smelters, the current recipes that are set up that way. In case we make a big order, at least it knows how to make that. It can at least say, okay, I know how to do this. And then, it'll be coming in from both smelters, the one that's dedicated to that metal and the one that's ordered from. It's just going to speed the whole process up by a lot. But we'll get into that next episode, and then probably the following episode we're going to pick back up with Thaumcraft. We'll do a couple episodes of Thaumcraft, and then we're going to do kind of like a quest cleanup type episode where we go through, because I want to get wireless terminals and some things like that. It's not really a big issue because, you notice I haven't really ran into many issues where it's like, I need a wireless terminal. The only exception is like whenever I first started this room, something that would have been nice to have is a wireless terminal. Little situations like that, but for the most part, with the way our base is set up, wireless terminal is not really a big deal because we have terminals in every section of the base, so it's not really out of the way to access a terminal, Anyways, I'm going to end it out here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. It was a lot of fun. We got a lot of groundwork in place. Like I said, this is going to be so handy. And I know I spent a little bit of time covering these. I covered basically how to do it a couple times just to make sure you guys got a handle on it. Make sure if you guys have any questions or anything, that those are answered for you. If you do have any questions, though, do be sure and let me know, and I'll do my best to get those answered for you. And I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And if you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Stay up to date with when new videos come out. Let me know what you guys think about the Thaumcraft area thus far, if you like the node room, and if you're excited to see more. And yeah, I'm ready to start building out these next 2 floors as well, but one step at a time. I'm so happy with this though. Like, I think that's beautiful looking. Because like I said, we'll be up here and we can like look down on it a lot. And like I said, this is going to be a glassed in roof. So if you're walking over this, you'll walk over, and I want it to kind of make like a nice looking picture all the way down. So you can look down and see all this stuff, all this Thaumcraft stuff all throughout this section. So, but anyways, I hope to see you guys next time. And until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys then.